Oftentimes, in the media, we have this representation of religious people rejecting science and scientific people being really anti-religion.
Despite the fact that most of the world is religious.
Religion and science seem to be in perpetual conflict. Professor Fern Elsdon-Baker at the University of Birmingham thinks this widely accepted clash narrative deserves a closer look.
This is a debate that really impacts our day-to-day lives. If you say you can't be a scientist because you are a religious believer, or you can't be included in the decision-making about this scientific theory or this scientific policy because you're a religious believer, you are excluding the majority of the world's population.
To study the issue, Professor Elsdon-Baker has assembled a global network of established social science and humanities scholars to form the International Research Network for the Study of Science and Belief in Society.
We had zero robust or rigorous information about what people thought globally about the relationship between science and belief. What we're interested in is the muddy middle. What real people think in their real day-to-day lives. For example, we find that somewhere around 10% of the UK population think that they might have some difficulty in accepting evolutionary science. But about 65-70% of British publics think that religious people will find it difficult to accept evolutionary science. That even includes religious people themselves who accept evolutionary science. We're projecting a conflict onto other groups and communities.
What you can do potentially is start to influence people's ways of thinking about the day-to-day. So whilst I can't sort of reshape people's views of the world massively, what you can start to think about is prior assumptions that could have been unpicked quite easily.
Church leaders do not see conflict between science and religion as a rule. It's in the public imagination, but we do not see a lot of empirical evidence for it.
It's actually not the norm for a scientist to not be religious.
The idea that people of faith are antagonistic towards science, or the scientists are all atheist or anti-religious, is empirically false.
In Argentina, what you see is that some groups that are clashing use these narratives for their own purpose.
The reality is, most people don't think in binaries, and often in public discourse, the people who are shouting loudest tend to get heard.
Elsdon-Baker and her network hope to foster a more realistic understanding of how religion and science interrelate, and by doing so, reduce the impact the clash narrative has on our world.
Religion isn't going away, and neither is science and technology. A more nuanced understanding is actually useful because it helps people to understand that science and religion are far more connected than people often see.
So the driving force behind our research is really to tackle and challenge a lot of the stereotypes, preconceptions and prejudices that people hold about who can be involved in science and who can't be. We cannot build a system of scientific knowledge that excludes people. We need to work collaboratively to find the solutions to the problems and challenges that lie ahead.